Hi, this is Monique Rhodes. I'm a happiness strategist and I've taught thousands of people all over the world how to be happier. My programs are used in over 70 universities and colleges worldwide, so I'm hoping today I can help you be a little bit happier. And there's something I want to talk about today that so many of us carry, often quietly, for years, even decades. And that's the ache of something that hurt us a long time ago, and the way that it keeps returning, uninvited, into our hearts. You know, sometimes people think that time is enough to heal a wound, that if something happened 10 or 20 or 30 years ago, we should have moved on by now. We should be over it. But the truth is that time only passes, and healing, real healing, that's something different. That requires us to revisit the places we've sealed shut, to look again with gentle eyes, and to ask ourselves what still needs tending. So a beautiful woman wrote to me recently and she shared a story I've heard in different forms so many times, and maybe you've lived some version of it too. So she met the love of her life in her home country, and they were young, and it was one of those early, wide-eyed loves that fills you with possibility. And he had to leave for further study in another country. But they made a promise to each other. They'd stay committed, they'd be honest, and they wrote letters, and they kept that thread of connection alive. But 8 months later, she traveled across the world to be with him again, and she was full of excitement. She was full of hope. But when she called him to say she'd arrived, he told her he couldn't see her because he had met someone else. And just like that, the ground dropped beneath her feet. Now that was over 30 years ago. They're still together. He apologized. He was remorseful, and she forgave him. But here's the part I want to talk about. The part we don't talk about enough. Even after all these years, after all of his apologies, there's still a wound in her heart that gets triggered. So when he looks at another woman, something inside her flares up. Fear, sadness, doubt. Not because she doesn't trust him now, but because part of her still remembers what it felt like to have the world that she trusted collapse in an instant. And I want to say this as clearly as I can. This is not weakness. This isn't being dramatic. This is what it means to be human. So when someone we love deeply breaks our trust, especially in our formative years, we don't just recover and move on like nothing happened. Our nervous system doesn't forget. Our heart doesn't forget. We might forgive, and that's a powerful thing, but the body holds the memory. So the mind revisits the moment when the love was replaced with confusion, with abandonment, with grief. You see, so often we can't let go, not because we're stubborn or because we want to hold on to the pain, but because letting go can feel dangerous. We believe that if we fully let go, we won't be protected the next time. So we hold on to the story. We hold on to the wound. We hold on to the pain, and we use it as a shield. So that's what our nervous system does when it's trying to keep us safe. It scans the world for potential threats that resemble the first hurt. It says, look out for this. Remember what happened last time. Be careful. Don't be blindsided again. And of course this makes sense, because of course we want to protect ourselves, and of course we want to make sure we never feel that kind of heartbreak again. But what often happens is that we end up living not from the present, but from the past. We become hyper-aware. We compare ourselves to others. We look for signs of danger in places where there is none. And even though the person in front of us may be loving and kind and present, a shadow can still follow us. So what do? How do we move forward when the past keeps kind of tugging at our sleeve? We have to begin by understanding something really important. Healing isn't about erasing what happened. It's about learning to respond to the parts of us that are still hurting with tenderness. So there's a younger version of you, maybe 20 years old, maybe 25, who still needs your attention, who still wonders, was I not enough? She's not trying to ruin your peace. She's trying to get your love, your reassurance, your presence. And the beautiful thing is, you're not that young girl anymore. You've grown. You've evolved. You've loved and been loved. You're wiser now, and you can hold her. You can talk to her. You can tell her what she didn't get to hear back then. You did nothing wrong. You are enough. You are lovable, and I've got you now. So this is the real work. Not trying to banish the sadness or silence the triggers, but learning how to turn toward them with kindness, to breathe into the ache when it rises up, to see it not as a setback, but as a sacred invitation. Can I meet this pain with love today? So you might be watching this and thinking, I've done that, and it still comes back. And that's okay. Sometimes healing is in a straight line. Sometimes we spiral through the same lessons again and again, but each time from a higher place. Each time with more compassion. Each time with a little less fear. So you don't have to be perfectly healed to live a beautiful life. You just need to keep choosing love, especially for the parts of you that feel the most fragile. So if you're someone who's been carrying a hurt for a long time, if something happened in your past that still stings, even after all these years, I want you to know this. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not stuck. You're protecting your heart in the only way you knew how. And now you have the opportunity to protect it differently. Not with fear, but with love. Not by closing off, but by softening. And that's how we begin to let go. Not by forcing ourselves to forget, by learning to meet our pain with such radical kindness that eventually it no longer needs to shout to be heard. And you're doing that better than you think. And you're not alone. I hope this was helpful. Please like and subscribe. Come and join this little community. Let's learn ways to be happier. As always, be kind. Take care. Go gently in the world.